Oh, this realm of lakes and islands. Imposing edifices, surrounded by exquisite nature. Here in the heart of Lower Austria, let's begin our exploration of one of the most enchanting landscape gardens in Europe. This park, with its 280 hectares of luxuriant growth, offers refuge to a rich variety of plants and animals. Forest, meadows, and water that blend harmoniously. In a direct line of flight south of Schönbrunn, only 16 kilometers from Vienna, lies Laxendorf, as it was known in the Middle Ages, an era when it became a country residence of the nobility. You, gracious town, conferred nobility on all who rode your pathways, noble or not. Acquired by the Habsburgs in 1306, it was Duke Albrecht III who converted Laxenburg into a hunting lodge and park in the 14th century, and the court was glad to follow. Originally surrounded by a moat, the old castle was built by the architect who designed St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna. Happy is he who forgets what cannot be changed. This motto, attributed to Emperor Friedrich III, is displayed within the courtyard of the old castle. Following the Turkish invasion, the damaged complex was expanded and rebuilt in the Baroque style. The Gothic chapel was also remodeled in the Baroque style. Weddings and christenings were among the regular ceremonies held here, even today. It was Emperor Joseph II who initiated the opening of the royal gardens to the public. In time, tour guides were appointed. Visiting parks and reflecting on them was considered becoming, both for the aristocracy and the educated middle class. A magical castle lives on through the ages. As light gathers, a golden moment. Proud battlements speak of great deeds witnessed by the surrounding beauty. And so one comes up on a lake whose shores reveal a catalogue of visual delights. Here, a thrust of undergrowth and earth juts into this minor sea. There, the water retaliates, carving a harbour into the land. Franz Anton de Gaheis, a noted writer from Lower Austria, remarked, "In the far distance from the shore, one sees nestling jewels of islands, each one adorned with distinctive vegetation. As the Roman poet Horace recalled, "For those who travel over waters, it is the horizon that changes, not the character." In the year 1388, Luxembourg was granted a market charter. Today, 3,000 people live here. A few years ago, cars were banned from Schlossplatz, and the area is now used for open-air events. The parish church is dominated by a crucifix. This sacred building marked the beginning of the high Baroque period in Austria. Stylistic comparisons allowed attribution of this work to Carlo Antonio Caloni. The stucco work is famous, with groups of figures that surround the cupola. Venite benedicti, or Come you blessed. The municipal archives are housed within the mayor's offices in Laxenburg. History comes alive, evoking greetings from the past. Ancient landmarks and monuments. A culture trail winds through the town. The Nepomuk Chapel, the horse dip, and a staging post for horses conveying mail. Refreshment for body and soul. The former Schwarzenberg Palace, home to the nuns of the Holy Cross. Their principal message is community. The name of this center is Ort de Mitte, which offers room for prayer and meditation, a haven of compassion, the wisdom of tradition. Over time, this extensive complex has absorbed the former Kaunitz Palace. The Holy Order once ran a school for kindergarten teachers. This nunnery has a long tradition of loving care for the elderly. In 2011, the International Anti-Corruption Academy, a new training centre, moved into Kaunitz Palace. Ancillary buildings of the new castle provide the framework for the entrance to the park. With its dazzling garden room, the dining areas were specially designed for important gatherings. Franz Josef's granddaughter Elizabeth, nicknamed Erzy, was baptized here. At the end of the monarchy, she became known as the Red Archduchess. Doves of Peace. Falconry. The Castle Theatre is once again a stage. Gluck's popular opera La Danza was premiered here. St. Mark's Lions watched over Vienna's Südbahnhof rail station. The Kaiserbahnhof was built specially to receive imperial trains, which travelled down the track from Schloss Schönbrunn to Laxenburg, often conveying crowned heads of state, including Germany's Kaiser and the King of Bavaria. Later, the once fashionable Kaiserbahnhof was converted into a modern performance centre, and the restored building returned to some of its former glory. The Blue Court, built by Lucas von Hildebrandt. When it was bought by Maria Theresia, she recruited the architect Niccolo Boccasi to remodel and extend the building for her constantly growing family. Another international organization is housed in the Baroque castle near Vienna. The International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis in Laxenburg undertakes scientific studies that cross national and disciplinary boundaries. Research that focuses on all aspects of global change. Major research areas include energy and climate change, food and water, and poverty and equity. Financed by a consortium of scientific organizations in 20 countries, during the past 4 decades, IASA has become the intellectual home to a number of outstanding scientists, including Nobel Prize winners. During the Cold War years of the 70s, most universities and research institutes conducted research along disciplinary lines. Few researchers look beyond their own disciplines and national boundaries for the good of the entire world. IASA was different. Its aim was to use science to break down the barriers between East and West. Here, international interdisciplinary teams came together. Since 1972, under the watchful gaze of Maria Theresia, international renowned scholars have worked in these history-filled rooms and achieved outstanding scientific results.
There are many summer courses, outstanding summer courses.
When the Cold War ended, the Institute's work did not. Researchers from many nations and disciplines still continue their efforts. Once a castle garden. The Blue Court bears its name not from its colourful facade, but from its owner, Sebastian von Blauenstein. One of the great strengths of IASA is its research network, which spans more than 60 countries worldwide. An annual summer program is organized for young scientists.
I am delighted to welcome you all to IIASA 40th.
In 2012, at a conference to celebrate 40 years of the Institute's existence, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, praised IIASA's outstanding work, calling it one of the world's leading think tanks.
And for bringing countries and scientific disciplines together.
5 years earlier, in 2007, scientists from the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change were collectively awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. 10 IIASA's researchers were among them. The international community applauded. A huge bust commemorates the life of Franz I, dedicated to a truly wise and noble emperor who withdrew to these, his wonderfully tended gardens, to recover from the cares of office. Franz I saw himself as a father to all Austrians and had himself portrayed as the Biedermeier, head of a middle-class family surrounded by his children. Inside his newly built knightly castle, Kaiser Franz erected a distinguished monument proudly located on an island. Where does nature and art begin? At a garden home, disguised as a Gothic castle, the visitor is greeted by busts of distinguished figures. The building material originated from the ruins of old chapels. The Middle Ages, brought back to life. The Emperor's aide, Commander Michael Sebastian Riedel. The work was completed in October 1801. The interior. Exquisite antiquities, the accumulations of a royal court. The trappings of a knight's living room, garnered from ancient castles. Implements of war decorate the walls. Weapon trophies raised artfully high in a romantic hall of fame. Regal marble statues, positioned in a circular heritage chamber. Exemplary and much copied, Lothringer Hall, with its Renaissance coffered ceiling acquired from the Castle Greilingstein. Paintings on glass panels illustrate the haunts of the Habsburgs. Ludwig Uhland, the German poet, wrote in a letter, "I was in Laxenburg yesterday, where on an island amidst an extensive park adorned by reflective waters stands a knightly castle. Its rooms and chambers filled with genuinely old weaponry, armor, pictures on glass, other paintings, and tankards, all collectible items. The cross that crowned the rulers." By law and through faith, lege et fide, the motto of these leaders. Kaiser Franz, together with Maria Theresa of Naples, created these spaces. Happiness is a matter of resolve. Green as far as the eye can see. Christian knighthood was the ideal. The guardian, erect in armour on a marbled pillar. Romantic ideals of the Middle Ages. As a reminder of this glorious history of the Habsburg dynasty, a chivalric jousting field was constructed. From the head of the Holy Roman Empire's German nation to the Emperor of Austria. It included a knightly crypt, boxes for the emperor and the judges, a riding school, carousel, and of course the jousting field itself. Marie-Thérèse was the second wife of Kaiser Franz and was heavily involved in the planning of the park. She loved burlesque and fantasy. Enjoyed masquerade balls, bread and circuses. She surely would have enjoyed the reenactments of the Middle Ages held every September that revive memories of that era. Recalling the noble warriors who fought until they were exhausted. As Schiller once said, the harder the battle, the more glorious the victory. A film location used in the wild 1920s for silent movies, directed by the Hungarian-born filmmaker Michael Curtiz, who in later years distinguished himself in Hollywood. This former forester's home in Laxenburg is home to the Austrian Film Archives. In 2004, another building was added to this historic ensemble to enhance Austria's most modern film library. This second edifice, the world's first all-wood archive construction, became an outstanding ecological project. Designed by Ernst Michael Jordan to store highly inflammable nitro film, this innovative building won the Lower Austrian Prize for Wooden Architecture and the prestigious Austrian Solar Prize. Indeed, a true workplace for film buffs. A 20-kilometer long strip of copper, the work of its creator, Michael Embacher, coils around the building. Its breadth of 35 millimeters signifies the film industry's classic film format. More than 300,000 cassettes, veritable treasures, are stored here. Among the cinematic jewels are film documents dating back to 1896 and 100,000 film titles, Austria's largest collection of movie memorabilia. A major task here is to restore and copy films. Annually, more than 100 international film and TV projects use these facilities, who all share Austria's audiovisual memories with the whole world. Laxenburg has risen from its long slumber. Thanks to the excellent cooperation between the city of Vienna and Lower Austria, this has led to the construction of a recreation centre, camping sites, restaurants, a sylvan swimming pool, a mini golf course, and above all, an area with clean, fresh air, free of petrol fumes. And unusually, around the shores of the Laxenburg Lake, a minuscule fashion show is held, despite the fact that bathing is strictly prohibited. The old jousting field, now Laxenburg's Verdant Park, provides a magnificent backdrop for sport and other activities. From the sad ruins of former feudal glory, a lake that was once a swamp, and 280 hectares that form a recreational facility of phenomenal beauty. All this at the gates of Vienna. Time is cyclical. As wild game bathed in the morning mist and stood, a white horse cantered through the wood. The summer meadows flourish with life-giving waters. This goldfish pond was once decorated by a Chinese bridge, the work of the architect Hetzendorf von Hohenberg. It is a paradise for water birds. Carried away by the storms of history. During the Napoleonic occupation and the confusion of war, some buildings were razed to the ground, which can only be viewed now in old pictures, such as the House of Moods, an Empress's Caprice, a pleasure house with Devil's Kitchen, and a music salon, apparently built twice. On Mariana Island, Emperor Franz Ferdinand built for his wife, Maria Anna, a temple. Today, it's a ruin. In 1803, the traveller Vittorio Barzoni observed, "I came upon a watered plain. Between bushes and wild acacias stood exotic trees of curious build, a tree with knotted branches, another in solitary majesty, dominating its surroundings." World of Waters. The Forester Canal, built in the 18th century by the designers Lefebvre de Archambault and Isidore Carnevale, its straight geometric arrow, softened at the horizon by the tops of trees. At Fischerdörfer, a rural cluster of huts nestled in the dark woods exists no more. And are today only remembered by a bridge. The Forester's Canal crosses the Münchendorf axis here, in a proud line between the church steeples of Laxenburg and Münchendorf. A green pleasure dome stretches along the long axis of this Baroque wooden star. To honour Diana, goddess of the hunt, the local school organises a harp picnic. It was Johann Wolfgang von Goethe who dedicated a poem to Diana of Ephesus. A goldsmith was to portray her likeness. The old artisan looked up in hope that, worthy of his task, would cope. Her visage nobly to proportion. Man and beast in harmony. Arcadia in Lower Austria. Music softly surrounds. Eight corners, 8 points of view. Compact and yet far-reaching. In the circle lies harmony. Corinthian columns adorned with wreaths, for Concordia, goddess of peaceful unity, like temples of old, merging symbolically in the landscape. Leaves of acanthus decorate the Montopteros. The Baroque poet Griffius once said, "Where harmony, love, and happiness abide, dwell blessings and joy till eventide." In their effort to grow to perfection, trees become a rallying call for unity among people. With great effort, the swamped landscape was drained and became a cultural icon. Where architecture flows like water, Pantarei, everything flows. The Sphinx exercises its practiced enigma. The fish dance. The Great Cascade and its bridge marks the eastern end of the Forester's Canal. The canal system was built by the best engineers of the day and ended the danger of periodic flooding. Cleverly integrating the waters with the land to create an entire picturesque landscape that recalled wondrous bucolic days, remembering a golden age. Boat rides have always been one of the park's great attractions. A 19th century writer wrote, "One rows around the pond in small boats, angling for fish. And among them, His Majesty the Emperor, who mans his oars with great dexterity." The Castle Lake, with 25 hectares, is the largest of its kind in Austria The rock grotto nestles in the shade of rare trees. And the Gothic bridge yearns heavenwards. Swan song that longs for spring. The lake area with its 7 islands comprises a major part of the garden landscape of the Schlosspark. The lake itself was dug out by hand, and the excavated earth used to landscape the park. Planned by Ludwig de Trot, the work was undertaken around the year 1800. Gentle waters wind in harmony around the park. Their flow seems natural, exactly in accordance with the designer's plan. Island of the Blessed, green bulwark against the storm of ages, epochs made secure in stone. The bridge sings an old descant. Under my arches, bow down, be still. I warn you, with every stone, it is not your will. Rudolph and Stephanie's honeymoon carried the deceptive promise of bliss, as it once did for Franz Josef and Elizabeth. Visitors of state were also invited to Laxenburg. The estate's Baroque garden followed the strict guidelines of an absolute monarchy. Thousands of trees were planted. Laxenburg was once an imperial retreat. Today, it's a recreation area for young and old. Playgrounds, walking trails, romantic moments, accompanied by wild ducks. The Laxenburg poet Wilfried Wöhl wrote, "Behold the Franzenberg, admire and see that it is us and we who built this history." Amidst this historic background, theatrical entertainment finds its place. Adi Hirschau, one of Austria's popular actors and cabaret stars, brings laughter to the cultural events of the Laxenburg summer.
Ganz pronto, Nein! Herr Richter, tun Sie was!
As Felix Schumann wrote, "We float, island-like, in seas of happiness, and then again in solitude." Come aboard. Your ferryman awaits to take you across the lake, of its storehouse of treasures to partake. The secret of Laxenburg's success is inseparable from that of the imperial house. Built on tradition, the town gains enormously in perspective through its hosting of innovative institutions, and the town flourishes in this dialogue between old and new. On warm summer nights, the outdoor cinema offers good entertainment, adding Mediterranean flair to the lively Schlossplatz. With mounting excitement, and with a single step, we enter a magic world. The fairy tale park enhances quality of life. In Lower Austria, one realizes that our future lies in the interaction between man and nature. Once again, the Laxenburg poet Wilfried Wöhrl speaks to us from the heart in his ode to the lake. Thou symbol of peace and stillness, mirror of the sun, your exalted existence brings love and makes us one. As night gently falls, like a heavenly blanket over the mirrored waters, the island appears again, like a dream in shining memory.